Okay. Yeah. Good morning, all. So yesterday we started discussing AR. Actually, there are multiple things that I wanted to cover in this lecture: AR, VR, and MR. Yesterday we just discussed AR. So we discussed the grading policy of the course. Then specifically we discussed examples of AR, right? So I won't again spend much time on that. So basically AR is to add, the concept of AR is to add digital or virtual content over physical content in our sensory field. Okay, we are looking at something either directly through our naked eyes or through a screen or whatever we are looking at is reality. No one built that. So on this input, if you overlay some digital content, that is AR. Okay. And we saw various examples. You already know Pokemon Go, then Snapchat filters, virtual furniture placement, AR measurement, heads-up display. And we saw a video of window navigation in a supermarket. How do you find a particular item? So it sort of overlays a virtual path to the item over your camera screen, phone screen. Yeah, some more examples we discussed. And so AR, it basically requires two things. It works on two technologies. One is computer vision, because the input you get, you need to analyze that input. You need to recognize different objects. Like if I have to, in the supermarket, if I have to overlay the path somewhere, I have to understand what is the walkable path in the supermarket. I have to overlay on that. I don't overlay on shelves. So I need to recognize what is a walkable path. I need to recognize what are the shelves so that I can overlay the virtual thing correctly. So this recognition is important. You should analyze what objects you are seeing. So object recognition and object tracking. If necessary, you may need to do your face recognition, like Snapchat filters. They're actually doing face recognition, which parts of the face, not just the face, but each part they are recognizing, so that they can place the virtual objects correctly, right? If you have to place a mustache, you should recognize nose, mouth, all these things. So this is computer vision. So the first part is recognizing the input, analyzing the input. So that is done using computer vision. And then the second part is you add an output. You generate some output and place it at the right place. Okay, so this output is generated using computer graphics. So computer graphics is a very broad term. It's not necessary that only the graphics which you see in movies are computer graphics. Every small thing which is happening on the screen is part of computer graphics. Even the text, when you type something, the text is displayed on the screen. That is also part of computer graphics. Or an image, it is being displayed on the screen. That is also part of computer graphics. Some 3D object you render on the screen. That is also computer graphics. So everything is computer graphics. Anything which is built by the computer to display on the screen, that is computer graphics. Okay, so both these steps are important in AR. You should analyze the input which you are getting from the reality, and then you should superpose it with some output which you are generating. Okay, so yeah, so these two steps are important. Yeah, now what is virtual reality? Virtual, as the name suggests, it is completely digital, completely virtual. Like there is no portion of reality at all, the surrounding reality. It is, you're completely disconnected from that. You're completely removed from that, and you are placed in a completely different environment. So that's why it seems very immersive. You see, like when we have dreams, it seems very real to us. Only when you wake up, you understand that what you had was a dream. But as long as you are in a dream, you don't know that it is dream. You believe it to be actually true. That's the concept of inception or whatever. Even there is a nice movie, Kannada movie called Lucia, which you need to watch. It is based on this confusion between what is dream and what is awakened, what is real life. When you wake up, what is that reality, and when you are in dream, what is that reality? One is confused between that. Why is one confused? Now, first of all, if I ask you, how do you distinguish between dream and wake up life? How do you know what is dream, what is not? What is the guarantee that right now we are not in a dream? Maybe we will wake up tomorrow or after 10 years or after 100 years, right? So how do we know that we are not in a dream? Or how do we know that earlier thing was a dream? Maybe that is reality and this is a dream. How do we distinguish? But we are sort of confident that this is reality, that is a dream. Why? So what makes us distinguish? No, even when you're in a dream, it seems very real. You will never think that your physical senses are not working or you're watching a movie kind of thing. You are in that situation. Absolutely real. So, imagine right now what happens when you get a dream. Between one dream and other dream, or one night and other night, or there are continuous dreams, every day you sleep you get dreams. The point is, these dreams don't follow a pattern. These dreams don't sort of show you the same reality every time. Each time you are in a different scenario, different situation, or sometimes you may not even be a character, or whatever it is. There is no continuity in the story which the dreams are showing you. But when you are awake, there is a continuity in your experiences. Yesterday this happened, day before yesterday something else happened, today this happened. So there is a continuity in the sequence of your experiences. Now just imagine if there is a similar continuity in your dreams also. Then you cannot distinguish dreams and real life. The only reason why we are sort of confident that this is real life and that is a dream is because there is no coherence or continuity in the kind of dreams we get, in the kind of stories we see in our dreams. But once you are awake, there is a continuity. Same place, same class, you come every day, or whatever, you go home, you come to college, whatever it is, things are the way they are. Yesterday, today, last year, 2 years, whatever it is, things are the way they are. So there is a continuity in your experiences. There is a sort of coherence in your construction of reality. You are sort of constructing reality at some level in your mind, and your construction fits neatly with your experiences. But in dreams, also you are constructing, but it seems incoherent. Yesterday something came, today some other dream came, day before yesterday some other dream came. So there is no coherence between one dream and the other. So if only the dreams are also continuous, like a serial, every episode there is a continuity, then you cannot distinguish between dream life and real life. So what virtual reality headset does is also very similar. When you are in that environment, you are sort of completely cut off from your real environment. I mean, right now, still our other sense organs are in touch with the actual reality, mostly our vision and to some extent our auditory senses. They are sort of hijacked by the headset we wear. But imagine all other senses are also hijacked. Maybe we wear some gloves or something else which make us feel what we are seeing more real. That's why these 4D experiences, they try to make it more real to you. Like when you're watching a 4D movie, when snow is falling there, you are given a cool breeze, or some snow is actually falling here, some rain is falling there, some droplets fall on you. So the idea is to try to hijack your other senses also. Not only vision and auditory, but whatever you are seeing, whatever tactile sense which is being displayed, say in the movie, that is trying to be, they are trying to recreate that tactile sense here also. If some cool wind is blowing, then they sort of blow some cool wind in the theater, so that you feel as if you are in that scene, right? Now, the more the technology advances, it will become more and more real. Right now, visually, it seems very real. And suppose if auditory wise also, if you are completely cut off from your surroundings, then both visually and auditorily it seems very real. And if other senses are also sort of hijacked, then you can't distinguish between reality and VR, actual reality and virtual reality. Okay, so first let's look at couple of examples, then I'll come back to this point. So as you know, virtual reality refers to a simulated experience that can be similar to or completely different from the real world. So virtual reality experiences can be similar to real world also. Like suppose I want to imagine like I'm visiting Taj Mahal. So that is in my real world. So but still, rather than actually going to Taj Mahal, I can be there. Or I want to imagine I am in some galaxy or in some fantasy world. That is also possible. So virtual reality can be similar to real world or different from real world. It's up to you what kind of world you want to create. It typically involves the use of a headset or HMD, head mounted display, that immerse the user in a digital environment. This we all know. So usually VR requires some hardware which sort of cuts you off from the surroundings. So that is usually a HMD, head mounted display. And we all know different applications of VR. Gaming, anyway, we all know different kinds of VR games. You are completely immersed in that, like it can be anything. Many of the first person role-playing games, you wearing a VR headset, you feel as if you are that person who is that character, who is the main character, and you see the surroundings in a very realistic manner, right? And then there are many other games like car racing or whatever it is. If you have there, you need some more equipment. You need a steering wheel or more equipment to make you feel more real. Okay, and healthcare also VR is used a lot. Like people have for people with psychological problems, like people who have claustrophobia or vertigo, many other psychological problems. So they are slowly and steadily put in those simulated situations so that they can face them in some controlled environment. Suppose I am afraid of heights. I am through VR headset, I am taken to a very tall building and I am sort of asked to experience that and observe whatever whatever is happening in my mind, and then to control my fears and all those things. So rather than taking me actually to a very tall building, I am taken to a virtual building, and it gives me almost or even identical to the real experience. So have you played VR games? Okay, so let me show you a video. So this is a virtual VR game called Richie's Plank. So this person is taken to a very tall building. I mean, this is all VR. They know they are not there actually, but you see how they are feeling. And when this happens, you actually feel, it's like your body, the adrenaline, you will feel the adrenaline actually. So your senses deceive you.
Yeah, I'm trying to picture that I'm still in this room.
Right? It's not like logically you're not there, but your experience wise, your senses deceive you that you are actually there. You feel the fear, you feel the adrenaline, everything.
Yo.
Initially, there were some other attempts where these people could not do it. They actually fail. I mean, it's like they find it very difficult to walk over that plank.
Oh my god. Oh. Oh my god. Oh. Nah. I feel like I'm just gonna tip over.
You've got to get to the end.
Oh, I can't do it. Oh my goodness me.
If you're brave, you jump off the edge.
What? No way, I can't actually do it.
He gives up.
Go back down the lift.
So yeah, so these are some examples. Actually, I mean, if you just look for VR fails compilation, you will see people behaving madly. I mean, because what they see in their headset and what is there out there are completely different.
And then
Oh, he did?
that's good.
So you see, it's madness. I mean, so wherever you are, that is your reality. Yeah. So the point is, we are. There are also experiments where people are given near-death experiences through VR. It's like, imagine you are falling through a canyon. You will feel everything, the fear, everything, all those things. So those experiences which you cannot actually experience in real world, you can simulate them with high fidelity, with high accuracy through VR. In fact, there was a philosopher called George Berkeley. He had a philosophy called idealism. You might have heard of different kinds of schools: materialism, idealism, dualism. Realism basically means there is a reality out there and we are perceiving it. But idealism basically says that there is no external reality other than our minds and their ideas. So he actually gave a very counterintuitive theory where he said there are no objects out there. All the objects and all the experiences are only in my mind. And even if it seems to you that there is an object out there, that object exists only as long as you perceive it. The moment you stop perceiving it, that object disappears. So he had a famous line, that is, to be is to be perceived, which means only an object exists only as long as someone is perceiving it. If no one is perceiving it, it vanishes. Why? The logic is quite simple. You see, suppose you are put in a closed room. You cannot go out of that room. Do you know what is happening outside that room? Can you see anything? Can you access anything outside that room? No, right? Similarly, our body and our experiences, they are like a closed room for us. We can access only that which is available in our experiences. We cannot go outside our experience and access anything, right? So I cannot go out of my body, I cannot go outside my mind, I cannot do any of these. So there is no way for me to know if anything is existing outside my body as such, or if anything is existing outside my vision, if anything is existing outside my all other sensory organs. All that I can know is whatever is available in my experience. That's it. I cannot know anything outside my experience. Now, so if I see, if there is a table in my experience, it means in my experience there is a table, there is a vision, there is a visual sensation, there is a tactile sensation. All these are my sensations, my sensory experiences, that's all. So all that I can say is I sense a table, I see a table, I feel, I touch a table. So there is a table in my experience, but I don't know if the table is actually outside. Okay? Now, but the point is, any experience is momentary. Your experiences keep changing. You see something, you hear something, you smell something, you look at other direction, again you see something else, you hear something else. Your experience is momentary. So this table in my experience is a momentary table. That's all I can say. The table exists as long as it is in my experience. The moment my experience or my focus shifts onto some other object, this table vanishes. That's all, because there can only be one object in my experience at one time. And there is no way in which I can say there is a table out there. then one can ask, okay, you see, I can feel this table, and if I try to walk through it, I get hit by that. What do you say to that? So Berkeley says that this is also part of the experiential package. Touching is also as good a sensation as seeing. Your seeing is also part of your experience. Touching is also part of your experience only. It is still a part of your experience, not out there. You are feeling the touch. You are feeling getting hit. You are feeling the color. All these things you are feeling. It is still happening in your experience only, not out there. Okay? Then someone asks, then how do you explain that different people are seeing the same thing? You're able to communicate with each other, right? If it is only in your experience, and if it vanishes the moment you don't see it, how are others able to see it? How is it coming into others' experience also? If not, there is an object out there which multiple people are accessing, right? So Berkeley says, so there is some weakness in Berkeley's philosophy. Now he sort of brings in God. He says that it is God who is sort of keeping all our experiences in harmony. Harmony in the sense, they are not conflicting with each other. Your experience, my experience, they are not conflicting with each other. They are independent of each other, but it is just that God sort of set them in harmony so that they don't conflict, so that we can communicate or whatever it is, right? Now, there is no proof for that, and he could not explain further. How do you know that God exists? You don't perceive God, right? When you said to be is to be perceived, how do you know God is? You don't perceive God, right? So, and how do you know other people exist? Even if you see other people, you can only see their bodies. How do you know other minds exist? How do you know other souls exist, right? You can't perceive their minds. You can't perceive their souls. So there, again, he gives a different definition for living beings. To be is to perceive. So there are some gaps in his theory, but the fundamental idea you cannot really refute, that maybe it is only in your experience. Maybe everything is only in your experience. There is nothing out there. It's not only Berkeley that was an idealist. There were many idealists. And this school existed. Even now, many people, that school exists. Even in Indian philosophy, there were many schools. Like Advait, that is like an idealist school. What does Advait say? There is Brahman and there is Maya. This world is Maya. What you are seeing is all a myth. When you get out of this myth, you will actually understand Brahman. This is the concept, this is the inspiration for the Matrix. I don't know how many of you watch Matrix movie, right? And do you remember in the end credits, some Sanskrit slokas come? You again go back and watch it. All the slokas which are related to this Maya, they come in the end credits, actually, at the end of the movie Matrix. So Matrix is, again, that concept is very deep. Maybe whatever we are seeing is not actually real. Maybe we are being controlled by someone. Maybe we are all in a dream. Maybe it is all simulation. But it seems so real that we are unable to distinguish reality from simulation or reality from dream. Actually, after some time, once the technology advances, it will be really very difficult for us to distinguish a virtual object from a real object. You see, right now, the virtual objects are so well constructed with so much detail that if you are seeing it through phone screen, and if someone takes a photo of it and shows that photo to you, you don't know whether that object is virtual or real. You may think that that object actually exists because it's done with so much high fidelity, high accuracy. Now imagine phone screen is removed. You are wearing glasses or some kind of gloves or tactile gloves or whatever. You are feeling that object, you are seeing that object through your glasses or whatever it is. You feel it as real and you are able to interact with it. If you push it, it is being pushed. It's like Iron Man movie, right? He is playing with them, holograms. So it's if it is given the texture and color of solid objects, then you will not even know that it's a hologram. You will feel that it's actually real object. So you will not know what is real and what is virtual. So if you sort of turn that idea upside down, maybe we are already in a VR world. Maybe already my senses, whatever they are sensing, are virtual. And I'm just being given an impression that it is real. Right? Right now, what we are doing, we are using some additional apparatus. It can be a head-mounted display, or it can be smart glasses or something, or it can be tactile gloves. We know that we are wearing them, and we know that we are getting this experience because we are wearing them. But what if the sense organs which you already have are created in such a way that whatever you are seeing, you see in such a way that which is not real, you are feeling real. It is only in your mind. Right now, the virtual objects, etc., are also only in the digital world. They are not really in the real world. They are only in our mind. So that's what. So this has a lot of philosophical implications as well, and this has a lot of use cases like this, like for therapies, for pain management, for rehabilitation, all these things. So you can transport someone to a different world and make them experience that which they cannot experience in the real world, and that will bring changes in your habits and in your fears, in your feelings, all these things. So VR is very helpful in that sense also. So it has a lot of medical applications. Okay, and virtual tourism, quite obvious, like I just said. I imagine I'm visiting Taj Mahal sitting here. So my entire vision and audio, they are all completely replaced with whatever is happening at Taj Mahal. So that is virtual tourism. So instead of actually going there, putting all the efforts and going there, I can make you feel as if you are actually there in front of Taj Mahal, realistically. Okay, so that again has a lot of use cases. Now, not only just that you are being a passive observer, you can interact with people. That is like metaverse, right? You can interact with people who are visiting Taj Mahal again from wherever they are, virtually. So that is metaverse. You can interact with them, you can speak to them, by sitting here, you can click on some spot and then it gives you some new information, or some additional information about that monument or that portion of the monument, or it can give you textual or auditory or different kinds of overlays. One is augmented. You actually go to Taj Mahal, you point your screen there, and then some text is overlaid on your phone screen, text or audio or whatever. Second is, in virtual reality, you are overlaying this additional information. You are sitting here, you are looking at Taj Mahal, and when you are clicking on something virtually, it is overlaying some additional information. Okay, so that is like mixed reality. So we will come to that. Okay, and aviation, medicine, military training, right? Pilot training, simulations, VR headsets are used. In military training, VR headsets are used. For medicine, for operations, VR headsets are used. In fact, for operations, etc., mixed reality is more useful because there is some interaction that is happening. Okay, so many things. It has a lot of applications. Many more applications are there, not just the ones I listed here. Okay, and then and this Berkeley that I mentioned, University of Berkeley is named after him. George Berkeley, who was an idealist that I mentioned, University of Berkeley is named after him. Okay. Yeah. So what is the difference between AR and VR? In AR, we know we are in reality, and some virtual reality or virtual content or digital content is being placed in our sensory field. Like if you imagine Iron Man's that hologram kind of scene, He is in his room. He is looking at his table. But some digital content, some virtual content is being placed there. So that is still AR. AR, right now, we are using mainly mobile screens. But after some time, maybe smart glasses can come and we can look through them. Or even without smart glasses, holograms can be seen through naked eye. Right? You don't need smart glasses for that. But to interact with that, you need some special equipment. But at least your naked eye can see hologram. Okay? So, some virtual content is being placed in the real surroundings. Okay? You are still in touch with the reality. You are not completely transported to some other world. You are still in touch with the reality. Okay? But what is virtual reality? Virtual reality means the entire reality is virtual. The entire surrounding, the entire environment is virtual. That is, you are sort of entirely lifted and placed in a virtual environment. Your senses and your sensory field, your field of view is completely placed in a virtual environment. Okay? So that is the difference. AR is where you place digital or virtual content in your sensory field. VR is your sensory field is placed in a completely digital or virtual environment. That is the difference. Okay? Right now, our sensory field, only vision and sound, they are being placed in a completely virtual reality. But more senses, as they are placed in virtual reality, it becomes more and more real. Okay? That's the idea. So while AR places digital or virtual objects in our sensory field, VR places our sensory field itself in a virtual or digital world. So that is the difference between AR and VR. Okay? I hope you got the difference. In AR, you are in touch with reality. The digital portion is a or an assisting portion. It does not replace your reality. Whereas in VR, your entire reality is replaced. You see, the games which you play are virtual, but they become virtual reality when you wear a headset. When you play them on the TV screen, they are just virtual. They are not virtual reality for you because your surroundings are still visible. Your TV, your room, everything is still visible to you. Only that portion is virtual. But when you wear a VR headset and play that game, then it is completely virtual. So that is virtual reality. Okay? So that's why you need hardware for VR. Special hardware. VR content is there everywhere. Even the screen, whatever is being projected on this laptop screen is virtual, not virtual reality. It's just virtual. Anything digital is virtual. So normal, any digital content that we consume is virtual. It can be games, it can be normal PDFs, it can be videos that you watch. Anything is virtual. But when does it become virtual reality? When you are immersed in that. And how do you get immersed in that? When you wear a headset kind of a thing. That is the difference. Augmented reality is you don't need to do anything specially to get immersed in that reality. You are already in the physical reality. It is just being augmented with some digital content. That's all. So that is the difference. Okay? Alright. So now what is mixed reality? Any guesses? Right, exactly. So in mixed reality, you are, it is a mix of both AR and VR, and there is a sort of constant interaction between the two, or some interaction is allowed between the two. Like again, like Iron Man's that hologram thing is a perfect example of mixed reality. You are seeing some virtual content, say on the surface of your table, and you are able to play with it through normal natural actions. It's like you are picking up some object, you are zooming in some object, you are deleting some object. All these things, you are interacting. So what is happening? Some output is shown to you and you understand that, and then you give some input. That input is taken by that virtual or digital content. It changes accordingly. Again, that change is given to you in turn as output. Right? So there is a constant interaction between your real world, because real world is your actions are actually real. You're not clicking a button or something. You're behaving normally. And those real normal actions are affecting the digital content or the virtual content. And in turn, when the virtual content is changing, again that is affecting your senses, your sense organs, right? So there is this constant interaction that is happening. So mixed reality combines elements of both augmented reality and virtual reality, allowing for the interaction of digital content with the real world and the user's physical presence. So there is something called okay, let me. So at one end, you have AR. At the other end, you have VR. Anything in between is mixed reality. Okay, this entire thing is called reality, virtuality continuum. So AR is clear, VR is clear, but when you sort of mix them, there is a gray area. It's like, is it really VR or is it really AR, and how much VR, how much AR? So it is like a continuum. There is no discrete divisions there. So this entire thing is actually called reality virtuality continuum, where at one end you have AR, at the other end you have VR, and in between whatever is, that is mixed reality. So when AR and VR come together, they are combined in any portion, any ratio, that is mixed reality. Okay, so some of the examples which we discussed earlier, like aviation, medicine, military training, etc. There is mixed reality. You are seeing something, you are clicking something, something is happening. Again, you are reacting to that. So there is a constant interaction. So so again, similar applications, education and training, simulate real world scenarios for hands-on learning. Like yesterday you gave this example of lab experiments, right? So that is mixed reality. So there are actually no physical bottles. They are virtual bottles with some chemicals. I am interacting with these virtual bottles. I am pouring one chemical in another bottle and all that, and I am seeing the reaction, right? So how am I interacting with these bottles? Maybe I am wearing some special gloves or something like that, and I'm able to interact with them. So these bottles are only augmented on my screen or on my glasses or wherever they are, and I'm able to control them through my actions. In AR, what happens? Just you have phone screen and some text or image or something is overlaid on that. There is nothing much you can do. Maybe you can move it a little bit. There's nothing much you can do. Okay, that's not really interactive. And there also it is not a natural way of interacting with that. It's not like, let me give you a simple example. Snapchat filters, you see the accessories on your face in the digital screen. But through your actions, physical actions, can you play with them without touching the digital screen? Like if I see horns on my head, can I do like this and move the horn? No, I have to go to the screen and click it and then move the horn or delete the horn or whatever it is. That is some level of interaction, but that is still not a natural way of interacting, right? The more natural way would be, it should detect my hand motion, and if I say remove it, it should move it or remove it. So this is mixed reality, right? Microsoft HoloLens is one such thing. In fact, so one simple example is, so when you wear that headset, Yeah, Vision Pro is yet to come, but it exactly, yes, that's what. So Vision Pro is also a mixed reality headset, but people have already used HoloLens, Microsoft HoloLens. So what it does, it's like suppose I'm looking at this room, I can project my browser window somewhere in front of my eyes in the midair, and I can click, I can swipe, I can do all these things through my hand gestures. It is not like I am touching my screen to do that. I am doing it with my hands, and it is recognizing my hand gestures, and it is reacting accordingly. Okay, so this is mixed reality. All right, a constant interaction in various means. It can become more and more natural, or it can become more and more artificial, but this is all a gradation of mixed reality. Okay, and operations, etc., they are also done in a similar way. And training, like I said, suppose you are maybe your car broke down, and you don't know how to repair it. So suppose you wear a mixed reality headset, and if you are contacting me, then whatever I am doing, that is visible to you, and whatever you are looking at, that is visible to me, with some augmented reality. Suppose I am also wearing a headset, so like it is visible to me saying that, okay, this is the engine, or this is the carburetor, or something else. So I can then direct you. Okay, you may not know the names. I can point, and you can see where my fingers are moving, and you can understand where I am pointing to, and you can act accordingly, right? So for educational purposes, training, all kinds of things, for surgical planning and medical training, all these things, I mean, it is limitless. You need not even limit it to one domain. Everything you can use this, because it's like in our real life we do so many actions. It can be useful for all those. Okay, and there is another term which you need to know, that is extended reality. Extended reality is nothing really separate. Whatever we saw here, this reality virtuality continuum, this is extended reality. So entire reality continuum, that is also called extended reality. So this we can also call, let me use some other. This is one way of looking at extended reality, that entire reality continuum, reality virtuality continuum, is extended reality. Another meaning of extended reality is this X is a variable. Means AR or VR or MR. XR may refer to either AR or VR or MR. So here X may mean A or V or M. So that is the meaning of extended reality. So rather than every time mentioning AR or VR or MR, we can just say XR, XR applications, XR devices, right? It will refer to any of this. Okay, so there are these two meanings for extended reality. So it's an umbrella term that encompasses all forms of reality technology, including AR, VR, and MR. It refers to the spectrum of experiences that merge the real and virtual worlds. Okay, so that is extended. So these are basic terms which you should know, understand in this course. All right, and all right. So I'll continue in the next class. Okay. So email ID is not yet created anyway. So I will upload these somewhere, and I'll share with your individual mail IDs for now. Okay. Or what we can do, you can create a Discord for now, and just you guys join that, and I'll post there until the email ID is created. So just create a group and add this. So these two will be assisting me. They are TAs for this course. They will help you also later in the course. Okay, so let me take attendance.